Hello everybody, in today's Unreal Engine tutorial I'm going to show you how to create a clean, functional pressure plate system from scratch. Whether you're building a puzzle game or an adventure game or just want some interactive elements in your world, this setup is super flexible and it's going to be really easy to expand. So welcome back to the channel and let's get started. Right, okay, so I'm going to give you a quick little run through of what we have up to now. This is the third person template, but it's not because I've actually added some props, I've designed a couple of the walls, and I've added obviously this adventure character. So what do? We're going to run up to this door over here, just like this, and as you can see, highlights to show that we're supposed to go through it. When we press our keys, nothing happens. So what do? We go over and explore, and we find this little pressure plate here, and it highlights when we get close to it. It looks really cool, and it also has a question mark icon, just like that. So when we stand on it, it'll go down, and the door will open. Now, if we go and try and go through this door, we're never going to make it. So this makes the player think, well, what do I do next? Obviously, there must be something else that we have to do. And if we just look around, we have this barrel. And when we get close enough, it highlights red. And it has the little question mark again. So here we go. We're going to push this towards the pressure plate. We are using physics on this barrel so we can actually put it on top. Right, and as you can see, once the barrel is on the pressure plate, the door will open, just like that, and then we can run through and progress to the next part of the level. Sweet. So with all that said, let's get started, and I'll show you how we do it. So just like all my other videos, I do like to do everything from scratch. So what we'll do, instead of using our level, what we'll actually do, we'll create a brand new project, just so we're all starting from the same starting point. So I'm just going to launch Unreal Engine. Doesn't really matter what version you're on, we're not going to be using anything too complex or any new features. So let's just choose the third person template, and we're going to rename this pressure plate system, like that. Pressure plate system, we don't need anything special, we'll just use none. That's fine. That's actually, wait. Yeah, we'll just use none. Right. Click create. So we're all on the same page. And what I'm going to do is just go and delete all this stuff in the middle. Just like this. Delete, 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 delete. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just select both of these by clicking on both of them and holding shift. I'm going to move this like this. And this one's going to go to the left. This one's going to go to the right. And if you wanted to, you could just like get a cube like this, and you could just scale it up like that and just make like a door, or make a door frame. So this is going to be our doorway, and this is what our switch is going to activate. So let's just create a door. In fact, actually no, let's go to Fab and let's just go and get a door, and I'll show you how you can do this. So let's just type in door, more filters, price, free, and then we can use basically any of these. Metal door, we'll use this one. I think this is what I used in the project itself, so let's just add this to the project, and there we go, we get a bunker door. Great. Now we just drag this into the level like that. This is going to be our door, but this needs to have some functionality, so it's going to be pretty much useless unless we make a blueprint of this. So let's do that. So I'm going to delete this. We're going to go to content, make a new folder. We're going to go like BP's blueprints, and then we're going to go right click, blueprint class, actor, BP underscore, we'll call it bunker door, bunker door, like that, and then double click to open it. What we're going to do, hold this little tab here and dock it here. I'm going to click the three dots, save and compile always, so whenever we make a change we can just click compile and it'll automatically save it, because my engine's been crashing recently. Next, add component, and we're going to choose the static mesh, and we're going to rename this bunker door mesh, like that. And for the mesh, for the static mesh, I'm going to click here and type in bunker door, or whatever your static mesh is, and then this will give us our door. Now, there is a little bit of a problem with this, and I'll show you how I get around it. So, if I, for example, if we clicked on our pressure plate, so imagine there is a plate here, and I go, right, stand on it, and then it moves down. This door obviously wants to open, but the door is going to pivot from the middle, so it's just going to spin round like that. We don't want that. So what we're going to do is add a hinge, and this is something I always do when using assets from Fab because they don't have the correct anchor point or pivot point, sorry. So I'm going to add a cube like this, and then I'm going to click this little block icon. I'm going to do 0.1 here, which will scale it in all three of these like that. And you know what, I'm going to do 0.05 like that, make it even a little bit smaller. And then we're going to move the door to the right like that, just here. So this corner is in line with this, because we're still rotating around the center, which we don't want. So we want to rotate using this cube. So what we can actually do now is, let's just move the cube a little bit. Oops. I'll move the door a little bit. I will just do that. And then I'm going to move the cube up a little bit, just like here somewhere. It doesn't really matter, it's just going to be a hinge anyway. And then the point of this is to hold the, so the point of this is to click here, and we're going to drag this on top of the cube, and we're going to rename this to hinge like that. Okay, so now if we go and rotate the door will rotate on its own, but if we rotate the hinge, the door will rotate correctly. As you can see, it's not rotating around the center, it's actually acting like a door now. And that's exactly what we want. This is just something I always use to get around like certain situations like this. Right, there's probably easier ways to do it. I know you can actually change the pivot point, but I cannot be bothered doing that today. There we go. So now the door is correct, and when we rotate it, it'll rotate properly. Sweet. Now let's actually create, let me just add a material to this. 1 second. Metal. Metallic. No. Steel. Do you have any materials? Tell you what, I'm gonna make a material. So I'm gonna right click material, underscore steel, whatever. And then we're going to press 3 on our keyboard, click here with left click, plug that into base color like that, change metallic to 1, roughness to 0.1, no wait, yeah 0.1, and then change this to like a grey color, and that'll make it nice and shiny, like that. Great. There's our little metal door, apply, and save like that, and then bunker door, we can actually go and add our, oh, it was called steel like that, and now we have a nice shiny steel door. Sweet. There we go, all the reflections and everything. Sweet. Now I want this door to be a little bit bigger, so I'm actually going to click on the hinge. Let's do 0.1, and this will make the door and the hinge a lot bigger. Move the hinge up so it's in line with the floor, and there you go, we have a massive door now. And then we're just going to position this wherever you want, like that, something like that, and then we're going to close this like that. Now we have a big mysterious metal door. Now we play, you might find that sometimes when you add assets from Fab, you can walk straight through them, and that is because if we click on our actual mesh, which will be in fab, metal door, bunker door, we can actually go and remove the collision here, and I'll show you exactly what I mean. Just in case you use a different asset than me, then you know how to solve this problem. So click play again, and it should just let us run straight through. Yeah, like that. Now, if you're having that problem, all you've got to do is open up the actual static mesh, which is this one here, static mesh. Go to collision, and you can add a simplified box collision like that. Save. And then once again, we can play, and we cannot run through anymore because it's got the collision around it. Okay, lovely stuff. Now, let's actually go and create our little pressure plate. What can we use? So let me just make something, I guess. So we're going to go to BP's folder, right click, and blueprint class, actor, and pressure, no, BP, pressure plate. Like that. And I'm guessing we're just going to make our own, which is fine. I'm going to add a cube like that, and then we're actually just going to scale it just like this. I'm going to add another cube just like this, and then we're just going to scale it to 0.5 like that. And this will do as our switch, I reckon. Well, let's actually just change the color of this to no, we'll do that. Oh no, we'll do red. Like that. And then we'll use the steel that we made for this. We have a big steel button. Okay. Wait, if we drag this into the level, let's see how big it is. Something like that. That's fine. Now, what we want to do next is go into the pressure plate, and we're going to add a reference to our door. So we're going to click a new variable. I'm going to type bunker door like that. And then we're going to go to variable type. And this is going to be whatever object you want to control with this button. Okay. So I'm going to type in bunker door, BP, bunker door. For you, it might not be bunker door. It might be a, I don't know, a lever, or I don't know, a window, whatever it could be. And then we're just going to click object reference like that. We're going to click this little eye icon to make it instance editable. And now when we actually go into our world, you can see it has nothing selected here. And if we click that, we could do that, right? But because it's instant editable, we can click here, we can click this little eyedropper, and we can choose anything from the scene. So you can see these aren't compatible, but it tells you the name of the static mesh. But this one is. So let's click there, and now this pressure plate is now connected to our bunker door. We have a reference to it, and if we wanted to, we could do a lot of things. We could destroy it, we could change the color, we could make it open, close, we could do loads of stuff. Okay, what we're gonna do is, firstly, let's just destroy it. Okay, so let me go and have a look on my other project what I did for this. So we need to add, I'm going to rename this to button, and then we're going to do this. Alright, so we've got our base and we've got our button, and the hierarchy is important, so we make sure it's default team root, base, then button. Make sure this is a child of this, because we want to be moving this up and down, not this bit up and down, because that moves the whole thing. Okay. And then what we can do, we can add a box collision. So box collision like this. And where is it? Oh, here. And let's just put this like here. Yeah, like that. Now, once the player overlaps with this box collision, we want it to do something. So if we go here, stand on it, we want it to actually like do something. Okay, so what we can do is go into the event graph of this. We're going to delete all these, and then we're going to go here and just rename this box collision. Add an event by right clicking, event begin overlap, event end overlap. We won't be using this one yet, but we'll use it in a minute. So next, what we can do is we can grab our bunker door like that, and we can say, well, what do we want to do? So let me just show you a couple of things what we actually can do. So we can get material of the bunker door mesh like that, and then we can set material to whatever we want. Wait. Bunker door mesh, get material. No. We're gonna put this in here. And then there we go. That's what I meant to do. So we're just gonna go straight out of here. When we overlap our little box, we're gonna get the material. Sorry, we're gonna set the material of the bunker door to pink. Let's just do that, and let's just see if this works. So press play, go over here, and then when we overlap, it goes to pink. So there's just one thing we can do. Next, let's actually just go and do some other stuff. So we could add a delay of 2 seconds, and then we could destroy the actor. Destroy actor, and which actor do we want to destroy? We want to destroy this mesh. Wait. Like that. Okay, let's do this again. So go, it should change pink, 1, 2, and then it should destroy. Okay. And what about if we wanted to add physics, for example? Now, if we get the bunker door, set simulate physics, like that. We're going to go and connect this here and simulate the physics. So once we overlap, we're going to set the material to pink, we're going to add a delay of 2 seconds, and then we're going to set simulate physics like that. And here we go. Let's press play and test this out. 1, 2, set simulate physics, nothing really happens. You can see it's jolting a little bit. If we, okay, it's not actually moving, so let's just rotate it a little bit just to show you that this is actually working. Play again. There we go, 1, 2, and then it should fall down. Just move it here. There we go. Pink, and 1, 2, and now physics is enabled. Sweet, and we can go for it. That's if you wanted to do that, but that's not really what we want to do. So I'm going to actually just delete all of this. And what we're going to do is go into our event graph like this. And we are going to open our bunker door, sorry. Okay, so what we need to do is actually go to our bunker door like that, and we're going to create a new event. Okay, so now we have gone to our bunker door, and we're going to create a new custom event. So type in custom event like this, and we're going to call it door switch, for example. And then we're going to add a flip-flop like that. And then we're going to add a timeline. Just like this, door timeline. And then we're going to double click to open. The length is how long you want it to take for the door to open. So I'm going to do like 3 seconds, for example. And then we're going to add a float track. And then I think this is the alpha. Okay, so next, right click, add a key like that. The time is going to be 0 and the value is also going to be 0. Then we're going to right click, add another key. Time will be the length of this here. So 3 seconds. And then value is just going to be 1. And there we go. We get this little slope where the door is not closed and then it opens up like that. To make it a little bit smoother, we can actually drag a box around these 2 keyframes, right click on the keyframe and click auto or user. It doesn't really matter. I'm just going to do auto and this will smoothen it out. So it'll like start off fast, go slow or whatever, yeah, or the other way around. I don't know, but it makes it look smoother. Now we can actually go back to the event graph. The B is going to be reverse, so when we're on the switch, it's going to open. When we're off the switch, it's going to close. Next, the alpha, we need to go and lerp this, which is linear interpolate between A and B. And we're going to hold control or just delete that and then just drag into alpha like that. Yeah. And then we are going to set the relative rotation of the hinge. So I'll show you exactly what I mean. Set relative rotation like that. I'm going to hook this up to here, right? Oops. I'm going to right click, split this. Now, if we were to just hook this into any of these right now, it's going to be 0 and it's going to stay at 0. So it's going to be from here and move to here, which is, it's just basically just not going to move, is it? But how do we test like how far we want the door to move? So here, if we click on our hinge, you can see that our rotation is 0, 0, 0. If we go here and we rotate it, on the right hand side, you can see we are changing the values here. So right now, we want it to be at 0, and then we want to move it about, I'm going to say 120, like that. Yeah. So we can actually set this back to 0. So we're going to go from 0 to 120, like that, and then we're going to close. So let's do that. So 0 to 120. And the time it's going to take for us to go from 0 to 120 will be this amount of time. And this just smooths it out, okay? Now, which one of these do we actually put it in? Well, we can actually check that as well. So if we actually go to hinge again, and it is roll, pitch, and what is this one? Yaw? Yeah, yaw. Yeah, you can see that the yaw is changing. If you were to add like a garage door, you could do it like this or whatever. But yeah, we're going to use yaw. So in the yaw, this one, we're going to connect it up like that. And that is our code for opening and closing the door. Problem is, right now we have no way of calling this line of code. So what do we need to do? We need to go into the pressure plate and we're going to say to the pressure plate, right, well, every time somebody overlaps this box, which is this outline box here, the overlap box, we are going to call our door switch. So if I type in door switch, it's not going to come up. It's because we need to grab the bunker door and then door switch, because we're accessing this through this. That's why we added a reference to it, and now we can actually call that from that. Okay, now this will just work now, like this will be completely fine, but we want to make it a little bit better. So let's add this in here and I'll show you that it already works. Let me click play, and once we go to here, there we go, it opens up like that, and then as we try and get through it, imagine we would just walk in, we won't be able to get through. Okay, so that is how we create a pressurized switch, but the switch isn't moving and I don't like that. So what we're going to do, we're going to change this. We're going to add another timeline in the pressure plate. So timeline like that, and TL underscore pressure plate like that, and let's open this up, and we're going to just do, I don't know, 1 second for this, add a float, add a key, and it's going to be 0, 0 like that, and then we are going to add another key, and then the time is going to be 1, a value of 1 like that. Click these two to make it full screen, highlight them all, right click, auto, compile, save, and then we go back to the event graph, and we actually need to connect this second one into reverse, like that. This where it says new track, we should have renamed it here. Let me just rename this. Rename to alpha. And then that'll change here. Then we're going to lerp it once again. But we're going to do something a little bit different. I'm just going to move this into the alpha where it's supposed to be. And then we're going to get the pressurized plate, which is this button. So we're going to change the location of the button. And we're going to set rel location instead of rotation. Like, we don't want to change the rotation this time. We want to move it up and down just like this, like that. So right now it is 0, 0, 0. We're going to move this to -80. Yeah, so we're going to go -80 on the z-axis. So let's just split this like that, and then the z-axis is going to be here, and we're going to go from A, which is 0, to -80 on the B, and update that like that. This should just give us some movement in our button. Let me just test this out, make sure I've not done anything wrong. So when we go over to it, it should move the button now. There we go. The button moves down, and when we step off, the button comes back up, just like that. And that is how you create a pressurized plate system inside of Unreal Engine. Do you know what? One thing I actually forgot to do was actually show you how you can add stuff on top of this. So in the intro, do you remember the barrel? Well, we need to add something that can actually be moved on top of this. So let's just move, let's just create a cube. So let's get a cube like this. And this is very, very simple. We're going to get a cube like that. I'm just going to move this down for the time being, because it'll be easier to press it onto it. Now, cube, and when we press play, it just stays there. We don't want that. We want to enable physics, so enable simulate physics, sorry. There we go. Let's give it 100, and then it should be able to be moved around like that, yeah? And if we actually try and move it onto, let me just move it above because I can't be bothered moving it like that. Once we press play, this should activate the button. But why is it not activating? That is because we are not simulating the overlap event. So type in overlap, and then generate overlap events like this here. Now, when we press play, it should work. There we go. Just like that. We'll move the box. Move, and then it opens back up and closes. Perfect. So there we go. Oh, thank you everybody for watching. The project files will be on my Patreon. Also, I've just hit partner on YouTube, which is incredible, so thank you. I can also have channel members, which is just amazing. And the next video will be this. So as you can see, this is the exact same project, just with a bit of a makeover. And what I want to teach you in the next video I create is this outline stuff. So we still have our door, which is the same code as what we just used. We have our pressure plates, same code, but we have this like light up silhouette, like outline kind of material, and it's all sparkly, and it shows the player what they can interact with. It's also on the barrel. And as well, if you can see the little question mark above it, we'll be adding that too. So I will show you how to do that in my next video. Stay tuned for that. I appreciate everybody, and I hope you learned something new. I'll catch you later.